Welcome to the Rogue Recap. Hot takes, cold facts, and zero respect for the official narrative. Sit back, roll your eyes, and let's recap. Rogue style.
What's up, guys, and welcome to the Rogue Recap. This is Lynda McLaughlin. I have an awesome show for you today. My buddy Eric Eggers is here, and he's an awesome dude. He's vice president of the Government Accountability Institute. He is the co-host of the Drill Down podcast with Peter Schweitzer. He's a best-selling author. He has a movie under his belt called The Creepy Line. He's just a phenomenal dude. He's also an awesome husband and dad, and last year we were challenging each other because we were reading the Bible. He definitely beat me, but that's okay. He's still my friend. I forgive him for winning in that area. But Eric Eggers, welcome to the Rogue Recap. Today's show, just so you guys know, we're going to every Wednesday is going to be called Soundbytes. And Eric is a lot nicer than me. He's snarkier than me, so sometimes it feels like he's not as that nice, but he is. But he doesn't curse as much. But this is where we make fun of the media and all the dumb shit you're hearing in the media that you might not hear anywhere else, right, Eric? Is that a fair description?
I'd like to go back to me being a best-selling author. Like, you told 16 lies in your intro. I'm not saying you have no credibility as a media personality, but half of what you said is incorrect. I'm not a best-selling author. I am a selling author. And I will say quickly, my book sales, my profitability as an author increased this week because my book was one of the 10 that the chatbots were stealing or ghostwriting. So your boy's got a $3K check coming. Let's go.
What? Get it, brother. You're like, mortgage payment? Done. You're welcome. Well, the scary part is, not that this is on our... Guys, we have a repertoire today of stuff we're going to hit for you. But as you guys know, if you listen to the Rogue Recap, I am obsessed with the SAVE Act. I love Senator Lee. I hate John Thune. I hate John Cornyn. I hate Tom Tillis, Murkowski, Collins. They're all asshole liars. They need to be voted out. I can't wait. But we can't vote them out unless we pass the SAVE Act because they're going to rig it, right? And in their case, we can't make it too big to rig because it's all figured out on their end. But they're probably looking at your book to figure out how they could get around what is coming for the midterms because they know they're hated.
We could do a whole show playing clips of people defending the fact that they're not going to vote for the SAVE Act. The irony, of course, is that when they do vote to either pass or not pass the SAVE Act, they'll have to show an ID to do so, which is something that they have to put it in.
Oh my God. I forget who posted that. I don't know who it was. And I was like, this is like, if you guys didn't see this, I'll put it up on X. But somebody posted where they have to slip in their ID into the machine to verify that it's them voting. So they're voting with ID so that you don't have to vote with ID. That's right. Let that sink in. That's a true statement. So Eric and I are going to talk about some funny shit today. One thing that's not funny is Gavin Newsom's wife. Now, if you thought Gavin Newsom's hair was good, Jennifer, she steps it up, all right? She does a lot of hair tossing as she talks, a lot of emphasis on the hair.
You can actually hear her toss her hair while she speaks. Yes. Like, she somehow manages to do her vocal intonations are like the equivalent of the hair flip. It's insane.
Little wind toss there. Yeah. But she's dumber than shit, just like her husband. And she's just a bad person. She's a really bad person. And we could do a whole show on her. Maybe we will sometime. I don't know. I don't like her. But we have a clip of her. We're going to toss to it. And then we're going to get Eric's take on the other side about the hair tossing Newsom.
I had to be very raw when we interviewed the young men who were juvenile offenders in San Quentin. I told them about my own loss, where I lost my older sister a few days before my 7th birthday, and I blame myself for her death. And I share that because that they ultimately were accused of committing these violent crimes and sentenced for life. And I think it shocked them that this, blonde lady who was, interviewing them had a similar story, was perhaps in the wrong place at the wrong time, but wasn't punished the way they were because clearly it was an accident, but theirs was probably an accident too. So anyway, I share that just because I guess, I quite enjoy spending time with people and being real and unmasking and showing them that it's safe to unmask themselves.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Do you feel like you can be unmasked with me, Eric? Because I want you to unmask.
What I feel like is I think we have a major business opportunity. I'm going to immediately start selling T-shirts that say San Quentin. It was probably an accident. And I cannot wait to hear like some follow-up interviews with these offenders in San Quentin, people who've spent a number of years incarcerated, to hear how they felt with corporate offender Barbie or juvenile offender Barbies attempting to relate to her. No, I'm the same as you guys. It's a tragedy. I didn't even know this. And this clip is from 2016, but I guess she ran over her sister on a golf cart. I don't think I'm willing to bet the people that she spoke to in San Quentin did not commit crimes involving golf carts. Like, that's just one I'm willing to kind of weigh in on. And I'm also like willing to say, okay, so you ran over someone in a golf cart. You are responsible. Manslaughter is a term that's used. I'm not saying it's accurate, but it's a term. And they're saying, okay, we committed some crimes. And the difference is you continued on your vacation and I went to prison. And that's how we're the same.
So it's funny, Eric and I were talking about this before we started the show, and he was like, yo, just remember that this clip is from 2016. And I'm like, bro, I'm fully aware. All it tells us is that she has been an asshole for at least a good solid 10 years. Maybe before, maybe after. Sprinklings at age 7, obviously. It is a tragic accident, I am sure, when you're 7. I'm not really sure why she was driving a golf cart at 7, or if she just decided, like, hey, why not start criminal behavior now? I'm going to take this bad boy for a joyride. Whatever. It's a life of privilege. That's what she knows. And as we know, people who have a life of privilege typically are the ones committing the most crimes and then saying, that wasn't a crime. I had a friend. They had a tip. It's not a big deal. It's totally fine. Oh, is it? Oh, okay, Jennifer. Yeah.
By the way, I like that in addition to drinking wine, the other pastime in the Newsom family is attempting to relate to black people by like leveraging, brokenness. She's like, no, I've also committed crimes. And Gavin Newsom's like, yeah, I also grew up poor. And he goes on the podcast. It's like, oh, the mac and cheese and the whole thing. Meanwhile, he's doing the growing up Getty deal. It's interesting that this is part of their playbook. And somehow it's successful because he's a front runner for the Democratic primary.
I have to be honest, too. And if you think about his Aunt Nancy, do you remember when Aunt Nancy took us on a tour of her new home? And she went, do you remember this? Like, she took, I forget what network it was, into her home. Dumb idea. And her house is just littered with wasteful spending, right? So she's got this side-by-side Sub-Zero refrigerator, right? Now, we all know Pinoy Paul is only drinking wine. So I don't know who this fridge is for because she's about 80 pounds soaking wet. So they open up the fridge and she's like, see this refrigerator? Oh my God, it's got the best ice cream. I keep it in stock. It's like $80 the pint, but it's fine.
I do remember this. That's right. The bougie ice cream. That's right.
And I was like, ma'am, do you not have one PR person to say, bad idea. Maybe not inside the house or directly inside the refrigerator of wasteful spending. I'm like, how many tax dollars or insider trading tips did it take to get you that Sub-Zero, ma'am?
She's like, we had some Breyers, but we keep it with the servants.
Exactly right. So speaking of dumb women that I can't stand, Erin Burnett, who's on CNN, often just, flip-flop city. She has a permanent residence there now. She's doing well, loves it, big house, it's great. And I stumbled across this morning on Maze on X. For those of you who follow Maze, he's awesome. He's got great stuff. And I saw this and it's only like one of the clips, I think they're both in 2025, and then there's a 2026 clip because she started out talking about Fordo, and then she moved on to this. And it's all about Iran, and she is a hot mess. Did you have anything you wanted to add to the setup of this clip, Mr. Eggers?
No, I think you've expertly laid it out. I just think it's interesting to hear Erin Burnett. My favorite, here's what I think you should listen to, audience, is listen to Erin Burnett talk about CNN reporting. I was like, it's 2026. I don't even think those are two words that go together anymore. CNN and reporting. Like, if you're watching coverage of the Iran war, it's like, I wonder what CNN sources say about this. Yeah, not so fast, U.S. government. Let me get some CNN on this. Stop it.
Well, here you go. Take a listen.
This timeline of Iran being a few weeks away from a nuclear bomb is in direct contradiction to CNN's reporting. According to U.S. intelligence assessments, Iran is 3 years away from being able to produce a nuclear weapon if they wanted to. So the facts on Iran getting a nuclear weapon do not bear out the claim at the heart of what has put the world on the verge of world war. Iran's uranium may still be intact and in Iranian control, 408 kilograms of it. Now, enough theoretically, according to experts, to make 9 nuclear weapons. It only set back the Iranian nuclear program by months. We got to call it like it is. It's a big deal. Sources tell CNN there is no U.S. intelligence that Iran is building missiles that could soon hit the United States. That's a really big deal.
It's a big deal. Okay.
It's a big deal. You know, it's not a big deal. CNN's ratings. In fact, I think that you understand why CNN might be doing reporting sympathetic to the interest of Iran, because I think the only audience might actually come from that country. Everyone in America has chosen to reject what they have to do and say Scott Jennings, like the only thing happening. Him and Harry Enton. I have some time for Harry Enton. Everybody else on CNN.
Harry Enton is hysterical. Honestly, here's what baffles me about Harry Enton. And for those of you who don't watch CNN, God bless you. But Harry Enton is a guy who comes on. He usually does the morning, mid-afternoon, early afternoon, I should say. And he does what's happening with the polls. Democrats, Republicans, latest polls, how it's looking, yada, yada, yada. And he is excited. I mean, he makes me look very calm. My man is jumping. His arms are up. He's in a suit. He is very, very excited. And CNN lets him come back on. And all he does is trash Democrats. Things are not going well.
Well, you know why he's excited? Because his LinkedIn ad to try to get any other job with any other network continues to do well per LinkedIn. He's like, let's go. I got 3 interviews later this week. He's like, Republicans aren't the only one whose poll numbers are improving. It's Harry time.
I mean, Harry time is a real thing. And it's always like with the most unfunny, stoic, anger standing with him looking at the big board. And I'm like, oh, poor Harry. He's got to sit with these people all day. So boring, right? Anyway.
Yeah, it is boring. What is not boring is this next story, which we have 3 different clips on. And I have to give you credit because, if you guys don't have the personal privilege of being close friends with Lynda and McLaughlin, so you don't know what it is. It's I think I'm going to talk about A, and Linda's like, let me tell you about this crazy shit that I've been following that no one else knows about. Like, Lynda, I'm actually afraid I don't know what to do with that. I'm like, I think the government was just listening to our phone call because of the sensitive information you just made. And whether the government was listening or not, this story, which we've got 3 different kind of clips on, is something you've been on. I didn't know anything about it, but we've got a guy who is connected to NASA research with the Air Force. Mm-hmm. He's gone missing. And I guess big picture, what do you think this story means?
So I'm gonna tell you, this is the weirdest thing about this, right? Obviously, many of the scientists with NASA that are specifically dealing with, alien life, which I would say, I don't know about you, but I feel like over the last 18 months, there has been a real uptick in people talking about, I saw an orb, or things are flashing in the sky. And and then I see regular people posting it, just not if you look at their feed, every second post is about how they saw an alien. It's like somebody who's like, I have never posted about this before. I'm sorry. I don't know what that was, but it's freaking weird. And now we have 9 scientists that are all linked together.
I know it's not the order, but you should show the chart real fast.
Yeah, let me show the chart. It's actually a good idea. So this is a chart that was put out by RT. And here's what's weird about this, right? So it says, this is what it reads if you're listening and not watching. Multiple scientists tied to NASA and Los Alamos found dead or missing. Nearly all of them worked together and died or vanished within the last 2 years. Tennessee Congressman Tim Burchett, if you don't know him, he's great, warned the public not to trust the government, urging attention to the cases. Daily Mail put it out. RT has it up, all the things. But it's the head scientist, right? The guy who's studying alien life, the guy who found water on another planet, the woman who's the administrative assistant to both of them, Then we've got the guy whose job it is to do all the research into these, and they're all dead.
Yeah.
They're all or missing.
And it's 1 is an accident, 2 is a trend, 9 is a story we probably shouldn't be talking about on a podcast available for public consumption. Right. I mean, as you noted, we have families and, and whatever the government's up to, listen, I trust you. Okay. Complete obedience. It's not a big deal. We should just keep it moving. And you know who else doesn't think it's a big deal? William McLaughlin, the engineer who went missing's wife. Listen to this 911 call when she discovers he's missing. Lynda McLaughlin, I've had more energy in my voice at a fast food restaurant than this 100%. Woman has when she is reporting on her husband's disappearance.
This is April. How may I help you?
Hi, April. My name is Susan Wilkerson. My husband is missing.
Okay.
And it's been about 3 hours, and I have some indication that he must have planned not to be found. He's left his phone. He changed his clothes into I don't know what. I think he's on foot. All of our cars and bicycles are in the garage. I left for a doctor's appointment at about 11:10, and he was here at that time at the house. And I got back from that at noon, and he was gone. He turned it off and left it behind, which seems kind of deliberate because he's always got his phone. He has a smartwatch. I don't know if that's with him or not.
Has he ever done this before?
Never. Nothing even remotely like it. He's a retired Air Force Major General. He's very responsible, but he's also facing some medical issues.
Do you have any video at your home?
No.
Has he been diagnosed with any mental disorders or anything like that?
Well, we've been seeing a doc for both physical and mental in terms of anxiety, short-term memory loss, lack of sleep. The same doc I went to see today.
Does he carry any weapons on him?
Well, not generally. He does have a gun safe, and I went to look in the gun safe to see if anything was missing, but I couldn't tell if anything was. He has quite a number of pistols and rifles. Other than saying if his brain and body keep deteriorating, he didn't want to live like that. But it seemed to me that was just a, man, I hate how this is going kind of thing, because I told him, yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Okay. We're going to send some deputies up to talk to you, see if we can search a little bit and see what's going on, okay?
Sure. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
It gets sad at the end.
It
right?
is sad.
Because I think she sort of realizes maybe, this is something that, and honestly, like whatever else is happening with these other sciences that are connected to it, maybe this is a different trajectory that's a little bit more autonomous. But either way, it's bizarre. The whole thing is bizarre.
Well, I think too, so supposedly, they're both, my understanding is that she also works in science. She's also like a nerd, and, they had that in common, which is great. But the way that she's making this, now let me just preface before what I'm about to say. Everybody handles shit differently. I don't know. If my husband went missing, my kids went missing, God forbid, I don't think my 911 call would be like, I'll take the peas. Did they come in today? Are they fresh? Great. It feels very like I'm ordering lunch.
No.
It's very calm. I don't know if that's the scientist in them and their relationship. He is an avid hiker. Like all the pictures they release of him is that he's this avid hiker.
But it's impossible to think about this story not in the context of the Nancy Guthrie disappearance. Which became like this all-encompassing, like lead the news thing with, here's a guy who's in the military, he's disappeared, and to the point, and I love that you found this clip too, like while this drew national media interest and so many volunteers for the Nancy Guthrie disappearance that they're like, hey, you're actually destroying the crime scene. We have too many people here. Mm-hmm. A guy was part of the search party looking for General McLaughlin.
McLaughlin, yeah.
And this is what he said.
Spending most of my time off trail, and it's very, very rugged. A lot of loose rock, loose soil, cactuses, boulders, extremely rugged terrains. I'm really surprised I haven't seen anyone. So I got here 3 days ago now. I'm under the impression that a lot of the searchers are volunteers, so they're going to be out here on a weekend. But I was out here all day Sunday, didn't see anyone. I haven't seen any aircraft, haven't seen any drones, haven't seen any searchers.
In his role with the Air Force, McLaughlin
It is so odd to me how strange this whole story is and how no one is covering it. And I think that's the part that probably freaks me out the most, is that whenever you research this and you start to look and you just pick up more and more and more, there are so many pieces to the story, and it's not on one major news network. Like, nothing against the Guthrie family, but who is Nancy Guthrie?
Right.
I mean, honestly, she's some famous person's mom. Okay, that story was interesting for like a couple of days. There were how many more people missing in Arizona? They were showing all these pictures of kids that could have been trafficked, human trafficked, people that were hit by illegal aliens. Nobody gave a shit. But we're talking about an 80-plus-year-old woman who hated Donald Trump, belonged to all these weird groups. She was in this chat group and that chat group. They're like, oh, she went to church. And then the next group's like, oh, no, she didn't go to church anymore. She watched it on Facebook. And I'm like, All right, so which is it? Like nobody had one story. And honestly, not for nothing, if your mom or loved one is coming over for dinner, pick her up. She's 80. Why are you not? You're sending an Uber? You're an asshole. Get your mother. Pick her up. Am I wrong?
Listen, I'm not going to disagree with you about elder care, you
Come
know,
on.
and so I think you're not wrong, but obviously there's a lot that doesn't seem right about all these stories, which is why, you know, in Florida, that's why they created the villages. Just you ship your parents there. You don't have to worry about them wandering off into the woods or the mountains. Like they might get in some other trouble at the villages, but disappearing ain't going to be one of them. That's why.
Let me tell you, I have a great villages story. Do you want to hear it? It's a great story. Now get ready. Now, for those of you listening and watching, this is not PG-13. All right. So just saying, fair warning. So we went to the villages many moons ago. I was there for work and on someone's book tour. Okay, fine. So we get there. People are stoked. Okay, fine. So we're doing a live broadcast, book signing, all the things. So this guy walks up to me and he goes, I take it you don't live here. I'm like, well, I'm 25, so I hope not. It'd be super weird. He's like, cool. I'm going to give you a little tip. It's going to be a fun piece for your segment. I said, oh, thank you, sir. What is it? He goes, look around for the gold shoes. You know what I'm saying? And I looked at him and I was like, no, I'm sorry. I actually have no idea what you're saying. And he said, gold shoes mean you are ready for an afternoon delight. Got it? And I looked at him and I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. Are you saying that you have sex with other members of the villages if they have gold shoes on? He goes, oh my God, why'd you say it like that? I'm like, you're coming up to me, talking to me in code. I just want to get the facts straight. He's like, yeah. So I tell you what, I was like the Where's Waldo of gold shoes that day. I'm like, gold shoes, gold shoes, all day long.
Sir, would it also be possible not just to look for the men? Like, is that also not an indicator?
No, these were the women. If the women wore the gold shoes, it was your like, knock on my door, my man. Like, I was like, what is going on at the villages? Anyways, it was very funny.
So speaking of Florida deviancy, I feel like we now have to, again, we have to do a little audible. We have to play the clip of America's governor, Ron DeSantis, because in a recent interview, like, listen, and I live in Florida. I'm so proud to do so. I know deep in your heart, Lynda, I know you wish you did too.
Yeah.
And
as most people do. Belong. Absolutely.
And because, like, look, schools were open first. We opened up parks. It's the free state of Florida. But apparently, according to Ron DeSantis, there's still one horizon of freedom we have yet to fully conquer.
My free state of Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis. Governor, good to see you. Maybe I'm just a little ignorant here. I didn't know that it was legal to marry a first cousin.
Well, in a lot of states, it's not. Florida needs to get with the program on that one. It's obviously part of.
And I would just say right there, listen, Ron DeSantis, your presidential campaign just took a step back, buddy. Okay, do you want to be part of the nanny states where they tell people how to live and who to love, or do you want to just continue to expand the free market? Okay, the heart wants.
When you sent this to me, I thought you were spoofing me, bro. I was like, this cannot be real. And then I heard it was Sean Hannity doing the interview. I'm like, oh my God, it's real. It's from last night. Okay, moving on.
Yeah,
please continue.
No. Well, listen, I don't know what your thoughts are. If you think that we should outlaw being able to marry your first cousin, I understand that there's some health concerns with it. But, listen, the heart wants what the heart wants. And if what the heart wants carries with it a side effect of some birth defects, that's between you, your God, and your Medicaid provider. You know what I mean? Just let the people do their thing.
I really, that whole expression, give the people what they want. I'm calling, this is it. This is the line. Everybody's got a line, right? That's my line. I'm like, nope, can't marry your family members. Freaking weird. Sorry. That's like, have you ever seen the movie Daddy's Home?
Of course.
Okay. So my youngest son is 10 and he is obsessed with this movie and he wasn't allowed to watch it until he was 10. So now we have to see it at least once a week, right? Because that's what we do when we're 10 and we finally find a movie we like. And there's a scene in Daddy's Home 2 where the fathers come in and the little boy kisses his stepsister. So there's no blood. They're not related. And I saw it. Now, obviously, I'm not paying attention to the dang movie. My husband was watching it with him, but
Hashtag active parenting. Keep going.
Yeah, no, I was not. I was active cooking. My husband was active parenting. I was in the kitchen. I was like, what is going on? Because all I hear is, he kissed his sister. And I'm like, what the hell? But it was so funny. And my little guy turns around and he goes, But it was his stepsister. It doesn't count, right? I'm like, nope, it totally counts. Weird. No, you share a bathroom. You're in the same house. No, absolutely not. And then this segment on the first cousin, I'm like, holy shit. I don't know what's wrong with people. I don't know what's going on. Can't marry a cousin. Just to know. There's a billion people in the world. Go marry somebody else.
Well, listen, if it's good enough for the royal family, it's good enough for my brothers down in Weaver, okay?
I hate those people. They're terrible. All right. So which asshole should we go to next? I guess we'll do Mom Donnie. Should we talk about Mom Donnie next?
Yeah.
Okay.
The opposite, like Florida is the new New York, right? So we're going to go from to where people are moving to where people are moving from for exactly this reason.
Yes. And so Mom Donnie, now I have it written out here and I want to make sure that I quote Mom Donnie properly. We're going to show it in a minute, but this is somebody who's saying that we are going to tax whiteness because of white privilege. So for those of you who didn't know, if our Lord God decided that you were going to be white on the conveyor belt of life, it is your fault. Okay. And so Mom Donnie wants to make sure that you're properly taxed here on earth because he's struggling. He's struggling with the success of the white community. I have so much to say about this before we play this clip, but I'll hat tip it to you and then we'll come back and discuss on the other side, please.
No, listen, this is you. This is where you live. This is where you work. This is your mayor, so have at it. I played my governor. You have your mayor.
I will tell you here, there's a few things that I don't like about Mom Donnie. We'll start with everything. And then the second one is everything. And then the third one is that he thought he was a rapper. So Mom Donnie has all sorts of strange bedfellows, right? His acting partners, his music video partners, his I Hate Jews wife, his friend Hassan Piker, who thinks America is responsible for 9/11, right? There's no shortage of radical psychopaths in his path, right? The one thing he does not have around him is one person who is able to form a cohesive thought about politics and government. Absolutely not. He's got funding from Soros. He's got schooling from, his big brother Obama, who had him over to his house. I don't know, what was it, 6 or 7 times before the New York election. And here's the funny thing. They didn't need it because in New York, you don't need ID to vote. You can walk in. We had people on film standing outside. Here's the funny part. True story. Standing outside of the polling places and you're in line. You're like, oh, are you in line? Or like, oh, you can go. I already voted like 3 times. They think they're being nice to you, not knowing that you're a raging conservative. And I'm like, what? They're like, oh yeah, you're good. I'm sorry. I think I heard you wrong. Yeah. I'm just going to keep voting because they don't check.
They don't check. And I have multiple stories in my book about voter fraud from New York. It's quite problematic, but I love that for you guys. I love that.
Listen, it's a real thing. And I can remember my first time voting in New York because I was registered at the time as an independent because my friend told me, if you come to New York and you register as a Republican, you might as well sleep on the day of the election because they're never going to count your vote. And I'm like, shit. He's like, pick the best of the worst. This is like the best bad plan we have, that expression. That's like legit. Pick the candidate that you hate the least. I'm like, oh my God, all right. But at the time I wasn't ready to have a D anywhere near my name. And I ended up never doing it because I just can't. But I registered as an independent, so I couldn't vote in the primary. I could only vote in the general. So when I got there, they were like, oh, okay, you're an independent. Got it, blah, blah, blah. And I said, yeah. I was like, here's my ID. Here's my voter card. She goes, oh, I don't need that. I was, and I was like, I don't understand. She's like, oh, I don't need you to check in. She's like,
what do you need that silly thing for?
I was like, what? She's like, you live on West 24th Street? Because that's where at the time I lived. And I was like, yeah. She's like, yeah, no problem. You go over there in the Chelsea section. You're good. Ma'am, I'm sorry. Louisa behind me could be me. You don't care? They don't care. And that's what goes on. So as far as I'm concerned, Mom Donnie had his, Antifa collection folks. They came on in with whatever sign they were given when they got off the bus that day. They voted 12 times each. And that's how we ended up with Mom Donnie. Not to mention the fact that we had the chronic women abuser, hustler of all hustlers, Cuomo still in the race. And then we had Curtis Sliwa, who was riding the subways and putting up the good fight. I was like, sir, this is not. Anywho, for those of you who want to know what I'm talking about, here is Mom Donnie.
The inequities in this city, the racial inequities, are stark. We are talking about findings that have shown that the wealth of a median white household in the city is more than $200,000, while that of a black household is less than $20,000. This is not an indictment of any one New Yorker. It is an indictment, however, of policies and politics that have persisted for far too long. Our commitment now is to act upon these findings, to do so in concert with New Yorkers' comments, as we've now opened a public comment period for the next 30 days to ensure that we have a city where we are reckoning with the long history of racism here and starting to act upon a framework that puts equity right at the center of it.
I love that the gut instinct is not like, hey, maybe we should do something to help the African-American community to see it boost that number. Instead, it's like the best way to create equality is to lower the top line. Like, that's what we're going to do. And by the way, what are the people in New York, what are they going to do? The same thing that people in California do when California's proposing something similar, right? This wealth tax. They're like, all right, I love that for you guys, deuces. And that's why Florida continues to grow exponentially. Yeah.
And we're seeing it already, right? We got the Starbucks CEO. We had Joe Rogan leave. We had a bunch of the venture tech funds leave. All these people are leaving. They're like, I'm out. Have a nice life. Me and my money, we're going to Texas. We're going to Florida. We're going to Tennessee, wherever they're going, right? Here's the issue that I have with Mamdani. Actually, let me rephrase that. I have many issues with Mamdani, but this is an issue I have with everybody. When you say to me, my sources tell me, many sources have said, the findings show. You're so full of shit. You literally wrote a bunch of notes last night on a piece of paper and thought, I'm going to say some shit tomorrow and people are just going to believe me. Do you have anything to prove? What findings? You know, it's like when you say the polls are, I'm like, okay, so where was the poll taken? Who monitored the poll? What was the sample size of the poll? If the poll was two freaking people and one said yes and one said no, it's a 50-50. Well, guess what? It's not really, is it, right? It's two people.
I personally am shocked that someone who ran as a Democratic socialist is now committed to redistribution of wealth. But I think the tell is like, it's not about, hey, rich people, we're going to tax you. It's like, hey, white people, we're going to tax you. Imagine being a dude that's a cab driver or something. And you're like, whoa. You know, so I guess the good news is in Democratic circles, it's not about reality, it's about identity. So you can just begin to identify some other thing. It's like the dudes that played on the Italian baseball team, you know? It's like they weren't American, they're Italian. I think you're about to find a whole lot of white-looking New Yorkers that are going to start acting like something else.
Well, I think there's also this whole idea of, you know, if we look at the appropriation of funds from any government, and we say, if I'm applying for college and I'm white, how much do I get? Zero. If I am applying as a white woman and I'm going up against a black woman, what do I get? Zero, right? I can remember myself being, you know, super nerd in high school, going to college alongside one of my dearest girlfriends. She had a Mick in her last name. I have a Mick in my last name. She was black. I was white. I was very poor growing up. So I grew up in a very black neighborhood and it was fine. Come 12th grade, we get our scholarships. She gets a full ride and I get work study. I'm like, wait, but dude, you live like 3 houses down from me. I don't understand what's happening. Like, I don't know how this math is not mathin', right? But it didn't matter because I was white. Well, we assume you'll have more opportunity. Why? Why would you assume that? I don't get it. And that's this whole idea that we need to lower the standards, the requirements, the benchmark, whether you're a policeman, a fireman, a doctor, you don't need as good a grade on your MCATs. Why? I'm sorry. Are they doing surgery different than the white person? I'm pretty sure it's the same surgery, right? Open heart, same shit. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I don't know.
The good news is the police shortage in New York is about to get less bad because they're going to have a lot fewer people to have to police.
Bro, it's a real thing. I'm telling you right now. And you're going to see all those cops moving. You're going to see all those firemen moving. And you are going to have a city of people who are unable to pay any of the taxes. Rent's already too damn high, right? They just raised all the rent costs. Anyways, I digress. Mamdani is a racist pig and moving on. Oh, and his wife can't draw for shit. Artist my ass. So let's talk about the next thing that I want to talk about, which is that we are getting RF frequencies into our brain, Eric. Are you aware of this?
I spend a decent amount of time with AirPods in, and I know
you look confused. I knew it. I knew there was a reason.
Well, it's unclear if it's the RF frequency or the vodka. It's like one of the two. And I'm frankly interested in finding. I'm doing a longitudinal study about what the impact of my various vices are on my body. Yeah.
I'm telling you right now. So true story. I have become obsessed with the buds thing. So I love buds. I don't wear the earbuds. I wear the Jabras. I love the Jabras with their little funky shape and they fit right in your ear. I would wear them constantly. And as I was telling Eric when we were picking out stories for today's show, I was like, you know, I'm on the subway. I don't need to know what you're doing down there. I had a guy take a poop in front of me last week on the subway, actually on the seat, and then get up and move to the next seat. True story. Took a picture because nobody believed me. I was like, you think I'm kidding? I'm not. So anyways, so these things happen all the time. So, nice pair of buds take you right out of where you're at. You're just like, I got to get to where I'm going, and hopefully I can just not be bothered. All right, fine. But I was having all kinds of like headaches and like brain fog, and I started looking into it. And they were saying, people who weren't wearing the buds anymore were having more clarity. So I haven't worn a pair of buds for, I want to say 4 months, probably about 4 months. And I feel so much better. My husband too. It's the craziest thing. And it turns out it's not in my head, not anymore. But I'll play this clip and you tell me what you think.
Care what it is. Like, you put those Apple things in your ear, dude, that's the stupidest thing you could ever do.
I stopped using them a few months ago. I got the wired ones now.
Yeah, that's not good
The
either.
wired ones probably aren't good either,
No,
right?
because you're still getting jump conduction into your ear, which will bring you to my work. My work is the next level of Becker. Like, if Becker had lived, he would have looked for the source of the DC electric current. Well, we found it.
So, like, I'm open to this, but to me, I guess my gut instinct when you sent me that story was, wait, I remember seeing a tweet thread in which somebody was citing a paper with mice and like low frequency radiation exposure. And it actually, it showed they had like greater resistance to cancer and like a suite of health benefits. And so I'm sitting there thinking, well, then I don't know if I believe this guy. But to me, the larger thing is in 2026, you have videos of guys in hats talking about health. It's like, I remember one time I was trying to fix something on my car and I looked it up on YouTube. And to me, it's the total subcontracting of expertise on things that could kill you or things you own to the internet. And you're like, I don't know. It sounds good. He sounds good.
On YouTube, he's legit.
So I'll take your video and I'll raise you a paper on mice that I think I read, and we'll just see who lives longer.
I would say, did the person who wrote the paper on the mice have stock in AirPods? I think we need to get the answer to that question before we can read that paper, because I'm pretty sure Dr. Cruz, who you just saw, who's a neurosurgeon, doesn't have any money in either one of these things. He's just saying, bro, don't put that in your ears because it is literally transmitting RF. So, maybe not near your brain. I don't know. Like, would you want to microwave popcorn on your head? I don't know.
Hey, like, that's fine, but I'll tell you what Dr. Cruz is not going to be doing. He's not, or I'll tell you what, he may be living longer, but you know what he's going to be spending at least some of that time doing? Being stuck in a conversation he doesn't want to have with a stranger because he didn't have his AirPods in to send the signal that he is out of commission for social interaction. That's actually the best value that AirPods provide. I think we all know it's just a trade-off. Life's a series of trades. And, that's actually what AirPods should do. They should make a commercial. Forget about the music. Forget about the lifestyle. It should show someone stuck in a conversation with a Karen and be like, AirPods. Never again.
I have to tell you, that shit does not work for me. All right, bro. I literally, it doesn't matter if I have them in my ears or not. The Karens find me. They want to talk to me. They want to tell me what they don't like about what I'm doing. Sometimes it's just a Mamdani supporter who is upset that I'm a blonde. He's like, you offend me. You standing there, it offends me. I'm like, piss off, asshole. I just paid for your apartment. So be nice, or mommy's not paying next month. So, all right, last clip of the day. Our favorite, Ro Khanna. Go ahead. You set it up, Eric. Tell us how much you love Ro Khanna.
I would just say this. Ro Khanna is an interesting guy. He's running for president because I think Silicon Valley is going to give him a lot of money to do so. He seems to have friends in the media. Like, he'll go on Mark Halperin's show. He'll go on and he'll talk to, I think, maybe not so friendly audiences. He's got a significant amount of hypocrisy as it relates to insider stock trading, but it turns out that's not the only issue he flip-flops on.
Yeah, no. Let's give the audience a little taste.
If the United States Congress has any life left in it, every member of Congress and senator must be calling for Trump's removal today based on the 25th Amendment. He's threatening the entire destruction of a civilization. He is calling Iranians animals. He is showing a total disregard for the humanity of people in Iran, in Gaza, in Cuba. This is a moral crime. It is a war crime. We need to be demanding that Congress convene today, and we need to be invoking the 25th Amendment. As a human being and as an American citizen, I am relieved that Donald Trump has accepted a ceasefire and withdrawn his threat to destroy Iranian civilization. But let's be clear. This did not happen because of Congress, which barely made a whimper. This happened because of the force of the American people. not just progressives and liberals, but conservatives like Tucker Carlson, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and even Ann Coulter spoke out against the horror of threatening genocide against another people. This tells me one thing. The only thing that will save this country, the only thing that will save our democracy is a broad populist social movement. Anti-Epstein class, anti-war, pro-working class.
I'm like, sir, can we first announce the last three people you named? Because I'm like 100% sure we as conservatives are not hanging out with them. Although, if I am being honest, I don't even know that I would call myself conservative anymore. I've been for a very long time saying it's an us against them because there are so many asshole rhinos in Congress, just as many scumbags on our side as there are on the Dem side. So I feel like it's a more us-them thing. Like, I'm an equal opportunity hater. I don't care if you're an R or a D. If you're against America, if you're screwing us over, you're no friend of mine. And I have no interest in you at all.
Yeah, I think Ro Khanna is a smart guy. I think he's got some interesting things that he likes to talk about. I think the Venn diagram of people that are supporting Ro Khanna and the people who go to CNN for Iranian intelligence analysis is like 100%. It's a small circle. It's not a large audience, but I think they are the same people. And so, those are unfortunately, so I love that for them. You enjoy your day, guys.
Listen, I think we need to point out. So I sent Eric this link. And it has the top 10 inside traders of Congress. Sadly, the second one is a Republican, Mike McCall, but McCall's a rhino. We all know that. 75 million. Ro Khanna, number 3, 55 million, my brother. 55 million.
Also outspoken about wanting to ban insider trading in Congress. He says it's his wife. But, I would say that if that's true.
So is he getting divorced?
No, I would say. You must not be a huge fan of his campaign because she ain't at any stop. She's out there hitting the E-Trade button on the regular. So
she was like, click, click. What? I love it.
All day long. It's insane. But Ro Khanna, it's, hey, but clips like that, people like Ro Khanna are exactly why we wanted to do this, Lynda. And I just want to say thank you for letting me come on your show. And thank you I think we're going to start this every Wednesday now because there are just too many insane things that people say that deserve elevation. They're not always going to be missing Air Force colonels. They're not always going to be, I think stories from Lynda and the Villages and Gold Shoes, but they should all be entertaining and interesting and things that hopefully brighten your day.
You are welcome, America, for Gold Shoes and missing NASA scientists. I'm Lynda McLaughlin. He's Eric Eggers. This is the Rogue Recap at Lynda Mech at Rogue Recap. What's your handle, Eric?
At Eric_Eggers.
You have to say it like this, though. Eggers. That's all of our friends. That's how we say it. He really likes it. We will see you next week for more of Soundbytes, guys. Have a great night. Pray for our troops. Good night.